This is the brief on the dead ancient ruin. Okay, so this super mysterious, kind of spooky ancient ruin. It's just opened up, right? And everyone is flocking to it. But for our guy, Commander Muchen and his crew, well, they're realizing the real dangers tied to some legendary warrior are only just starting to surface. So, first off, this ruin, it didn't just appear. No, it burst open with these really weird, tormented sounds. The sky went dark, huge pressure everywhere. And Muchen, he's sharp. He immediately senses this powerful energy, something familiar. Turns out, it's the aura of a Jinju Shi, a legendary ancient warrior, folks. So while smaller groups just rushed in, Muchen and the big players held back. They knew this was serious. Okay, second point. Once they actually did go in, Muchen's team, the Heaven Gong Battle region, bam, they run into thousands of these spectral warriors. Think decaying armor, creepy glowing red eyes, almost like zombies, right? And they give off this corrupting vibe, attacking super coordinated. Muchen and his buddy Zhao Yu figured these were probably old fighters, twisted by, get this, interdimensional demons, nasty beings from other realms way back in some big war. And beating them drops cloud-swallowing pills, valuable power-ups, confirms his place is a big deal, a top-tier ancient site. And finally, things get way more intense deeper in. They stumble upon the wreckage of another group, the Liashan Battle Sect, a top power. Their powerful Zizun commander that's a high-level leader is just gone, missing, probably dead. But Muchen spots something really worrying. This figure in black armor, it's commanding the spectral warriors, intelligently. It even has this powerful demon wolf war spirit, basically a summoned battle beast. This points to a much smarter, organized enemy. Maybe even that ancient Jinju Shi, possessed by a demon? Uh-oh. Yeah, this dead ancient ruin, it's shaping up to be one seriously treacherous trip. And it looks like Muchen's facing his biggest challenge yet, against something ancient and very cunning. This is the brief on the Great Ruler, Chapter 302. Okay, so today we're jumping into a really key episode where Muchen and his crew, right, they're facing off against this ancient, super dangerous zombie army deep in the ruins of the dead civilization. Things are definitely heating up. All right, first up, Muchen's team. And we're talking some serious powerhouses here, like Li Shan, Ju Yu, Lin Jin, basically 6 top-tier cultivators with Muchen's borrowed strength. They run smack into this huge zombie army, like over 20,000 of them. And they're led by this guy, General 5, who used to serve the ancient Emperor Tianzhen, but is now, well, kind of zombified. He wields this powerful demon wolf war soul. Think of it like a fierce spiritual battle energy, and it actually blocks a lot of coordinated attacks from Muchen's elite group. Okay, second point. Muchen, he's not just trying to survive here. Nah, he's got objectives. He's after these valuable things called Ruyao pills, kind of like energy boosters you get from defeated zombies. Plus, he really needs intel on Emperor Tianzhen because they suspect he might be the legendary Zhen Shi, a master of battle formations. The fight is fierce, yeah, but the team eventually manages to destroy that demon wolf war soul. And then Muchen actually shows some respect for General 5's spirit, helping him find peace, which leads to something important.
And that leads us to our final point. Right before he fades, General 5 gives Muchen this critical warning. He mentions the 4 Directions Divine Formation, apparently a super powerful battle setup deeper in the ruins, likely made by a true Jin Zenshi. This pretty much confirms Muchen's hunch about Emperor Tianjin being the master they're looking for. So, as the group pushes forward, they face an even bigger zombie army, hundreds of thousands. And other powerful groups, like the Divine Pagoda, are starting to arrive too. Looks like things are heating up, maybe even pointing towards some teamwork down the line. Yeah, Muchen's journey into these ancient ruins, it's definitely far from over, with lots more mystery and bigger threats still waiting.
This is the brief on the Great Ruler, strategic alliance against the 4 deities army.
All right, so today we're jumping into the Great Ruler, specifically looking at this really critical moment where, these groups that don't usually get along have to team up. Why? Because they're facing this super old, super scary ghost army that's guarding some seriously amazing treasures and, like, legendary fighting techniques. First, the challenge, the Four Deities Army. Once a million elite warriors, now they're powerful undead guarding tons of leak-stopping pills. Think major spiritual power-ups and ancient fighting techniques. Their main defense? The Four Deities Formation, a super complex magic barrier. Even top-tier experts struggle, and hitting it wrong just makes it stronger. Second, the plan comes from this clever strategist, Jin Tai. They figure out the formation is old and weak. It's got four parts needing simultaneous destruction. But here's the trick. Only 3 really strong fighters, heavenly talents, are needed to break their sections fast. A smaller team just holds the fourth part briefly until the whole thing collapses. Smart, right? Finally, the motivation. Those awesome pills and fighting secrets? It's enough to make rival factions, like Muchen's Heaven Glimmer Palace, form a very uneasy alliance under Jin Tai. Despite not trusting each other at all, their massive combined force attacks. And guess what? Jin Tai's group leads the charge, breaks the first enemy line, and they start pushing forward. So this risky alliance kicks off a dangerous quest, proving shared goals can unite even the biggest rivals against an ancient threat.
This is the brief on the Great Ruler's epic battle. Okay, so we're diving into a pretty intense moment from the YouTube series, The Great Ruler. Basically, you've got this alliance army going head-to-head with a formidable zombie warrior army, and this really terrifying ancient magical formation. First off, the alliance really showed some smart moves under serious pressure. Their commander, Jin Tai Shi, leads a key faction called the Divine Pagoda, initially broke through the zombie defenses. But then, boom, they faced these perfectly coordinated counterattacks and this nasty energy called the Rotting Moonlight Radiance. Jin Tai's leadership, though, absolutely vital. She expertly rotated different alliance forces, keeping the pressure on while making sure her troops didn't just burn out. Super sharp thinking. Second, after pushing through those outer defenses, the alliance hit its true test, the 4 Heavenly Emperors array. And this thing? It's on another level. It's ancient, incredibly powerful, and basically designed to turn the alliance's own strength right back at them. It's commanded by this figure, Emperor Tianzhen, and destroying these 4 giant light walls is pretty much the main goal to dismantle this destructive force they call the Civilization of Death. So, conserving energy? Yeah, that just became absolutely critical. Finally, just as they're gearing up to tackle this massive array, some serious tension pops up within the alliance itself. Commander Jin Tai Shi suggests the 3 main powers should lead the charge, but then Xiao Tian, a leader from another key group, Sky Firmament Palace, immediately challenges her. He kind of implies she might be holding back info, and volunteers his group to go first instead. Talk about distrust surfacing at the worst possible moment. It adds this really tricky, dangerous layer right before their biggest fight.
So yeah, this pivotal moment really sets the stage, testing not just the alliance's power, but also their ability to actually stick together when it counts.
This is the brief on the 4 Divine Generals array. Okay, so what we're diving into here is this really high-stakes moment from the Great Ruler saga. We've got 3 pretty legendary commanders, right? And they're leading these absolutely colossal armies into a super famous and definitely perilous ancient battle formation. First up, you just got to appreciate the sheer scale we're talking about. It's massive. You've got Commander Xiao Tian, a real veteran, leading tens of thousands of warriors. Then there's the cunning Commander Jin Tai, commanding another huge army, again, tens of thousands strong. And Commander Muchen, well, he starts a bit smaller but quickly ramps up his forces, also leading tens of thousands. We're looking at over 85,000 elite soldiers combined. Seriously huge. Tells you how big the stakes are. Second, the challenge itself. This ancient thing called the 4 Divine Generals array. Basically, it's a magical formation that summons these 4 incredibly powerful spiritual beings. They call them war souls. So you've got the Azure dragon, the white tiger, the black tortoise, and the vermilion bird. And here's the key part. That Azure dragon section, it's known to be the absolute strongest, like the ultimate test for whoever dares to enter first. Finally, this is where things get kind of sneaky. thanks to Commander Jintai. Talk about strategy, or maybe deception? She cleverly pretended to be weaker than she was, and, crucially, she kind of kept quiet about just how much tougher certain parts of the array were. Well, this totally led Commander Xiaotin to jump in and volunteer to go first. Yeah, unknowingly walking right into that strongest Azure Dragon part.
Meanwhile, Jintai and Muchen get to enter later, facing sections that aren't quite as dangerous. Muchen totally picks up on this, realizing just how shrewd Jintai played it. So, this whole situation, it really shows it's not just about military power, but also a serious game of wits, where clever deception can decide who faces the fire.